What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, January 15th, 2019. If you're a replay viewer, as always, hit the timestamp comment below to get right into the video. I'll put some timestamps down there for you. On your way, if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. Doing a live stream because I just failed. My QuickTime recorder failed me after I recorded the video. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm not re-recording this, so I go live, and here I am. In this video, we're going to talk about three things. Number one, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, the current formation you see on the screen that we've talked about yesterday. Is it close to breaking? Potentially. If the bulls don't step in, it is close to breaking. We're going to talk about Litecoin. Litecoin, even in a more scary position right now. We're going to talk about that really mainly on the 4 hour. And we're also going to talk about the Lightning Network. It's official that I've created a node. I've set up a node on the Lightning Network, on the LTC Lightning Network. I'm pretty stoked. I really am. So just going to give it a little bit of time as we have some people entering. It's nice to see some people are entering. Obviously, some of the notifications working, hopefully. Ravinesh, what's up? Piotr, Steven, what's up, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well today. It's a really weird time to do a live stream. Tuesday, 4 o'clock on Eastern time. So I'm going to do my best and put this content out there for you all. I want to kind of give a nice update in terms of what's going on. So appreciate everybody that's here already. And really, I'll just jump right in, and then hopefully as more people come in, maybe we can update them. But let's do it. I tweeted yesterday, and this is just something interesting that I want to throw out there for you all because it surprised me very much. Yesterday I asked, what do you like most about Litecoin? And I had three options. I said because it's BTC light, meaning it's fast, it's usable, or the people involved. It is like almost split evenly. And what's up, Tech Lords? Appreciate you coming by, dude. I think you're the only mod. And hopefully, maybe we'll have a nice calm live stream chat today. We don't have to get rowdy and kick anybody out. So I was very surprised by this. 32% of the people that voted, over 600 people, said that what they like most about Litecoin are the people involved. Now, that says a lot. And I don't think it's just Litecoin. I think that says a lot in terms of how a lot of people, based on this poll, 1/3 of people basically are choosing the cryptocurrency to get involved in. I know the tech is incredible. It's powerful. It's world changing. But there is that social aspect to cryptocurrency that we cannot ignore. We cannot avoid. But if you're behind a certain project like Litecoin, we can certainly leverage it because there is a huge social aspect and influence to what draws and attracts people to a particular cryptocurrency. And I thought it was really interesting. I didn't expect it. I definitely did not expect it. And what's funny is I thought it's usable, my second choice that I put here, I thought that would be the number one on why people like Litecoin most. And you can just see exactly why I'm wrong. So that's that. I wanted to throw that out. I thought it was really interesting feedback. I mean, over 600 people voted on that. So there's 7 hours left. We'll track it, see if anything changes. So next up, I'm very proud of this, everybody. So please bear with me as I cover this because this is something that took me a little bit of time. And it took eCurrency hodlers time too. Tech Lords, you know, man, I appreciate you. $10.30 or 0.0028 Bitcoin donation. Thank you, man. Thank you very much on this Tuesday, very weird time. Definitely not necessary, Tech Lords, and you know it, man, but I appreciate it so much. So here it is, breaking. I've officially set up a Crypto Capital Venture Litecoin node on the Lightning Network. The future of payments has arrived. everybody, there's many reasons I like cryptocurrency. Payments is one of them. I really do think there's going to be a huge shift in payments. Um, Interestingly enough, on that last tweet, you can see Alliant Payments commented. They said it was hard to pick just one answer, all of the above. And I'm sure they like the usability factor for payments. I'm guessing they like that. But everybody, payments is a huge part of cryptocurrency. There's going to be a huge shift in terms of payments. And the Lightning Network is like one of those stepping stones. And other things might come along. But for now, where we are in this technology and the evolution of this technology, the Lightning Network is an incredibly big part of that. So I have to do this. I'm sure he's not on here right now, but huge, incredibly huge shout outs to eCurrency Hodler. You see up here, eCurrency Hodler. This was his LTC Lightning Network guide, L&D guide. And I just have to tell you, and I did do this. So for the second time, I went to work following this guide to set up my Lightning Network Litecoin node. I went to work yesterday and I was getting very, very deep into it. Now, what happened is I ran into a problem, an error with one of the commands, and I couldn't figure it out on my own. I'm not technical. I'm really not. I like to think I can navigate myself around situations and problems, but I needed help. And eCurrency Hodler, he helped me. And I say that, number one, to thank him because, he invested his time, and I can't wait to send him some Litecoin over the Lightning Network. We're going to do that. But I also say it because of this. I was number 100, and you can see I'm going to bring it up. Here is the Lightning Network for Litecoin. And here's my node right here. You see it on the screen. Crypto Capital Venture. I'm one of 119. That's how early this is. You can zoom out as it disappears. And you can see how early this is. So since it's early, it's tougher to create and set up a node. If you're not technical and you don't have patience to do this stuff, it's tough, right? It's not easy. We can't pretend it is easy. However, it's easy enough, but secondly, it's going to become easy. It's going to become easy to set these nodes up. And when that happens, you're going to see this picture explode. And the same thing for Bitcoin Lightning Network. You're going to see that explode. Everyday users are going to be able to do this. I'm just impatient and wanted to have my Crypto Capital Venture name on the Explorer. And so there it is. And now I'm just showing it off to everybody. So here's the guide that I followed. I'm gonna put it in the comments. There's the link to the guide. And we have Luffa Basin. I just saw your node and went straight to YouTube to ask for to set up a channel. I'm running the stakenet.io on the max capacity list. So and you can see I just posted a link to the guide that I used by eCurrency Hodler. So again, thank you eCurrency Hodler. And I set it up. Now, what's really cool is so Rebecca, I saw her tweet shortly. So while I was setting this up, I saw, and I'm going to go find Rebecca, who's on Twitter, I believe part of the East Coast team for Litecoin. And I saw this name down here, Lemonade. And I'm like, I swear there's someone on Twitter with I Make Lemonade user. And then I go and I see it was Rebecca on Twitter who set up her Lightning Network node as well on Litecoin. And there you can see, there she is, Lemonade. Now, what's really sweet is I can send her some Litecoin on Lightning Network. I just tweeted her like an hour ago. And here's the process to doing it. It's not like something that I can instantly do, right? Because she replied, she said, I'd appreciate it, but she said I'd reciprocate, but I don't know how to do that yet. I'll learn baby steps. There will be a time when you won't have to learn. And I just want to throw that out there to everybody. This is so early on. And that's why what you see is it looks difficult, right? And I want to just come out and tell you that. I get that. But it's not going to be difficult forever. So you can see eCurrency hodler said, "I got you, Rebecca," and posted a link on basically how to do this, how to create an invoice to send to somebody, right? So there's that. You see it on the screen. And you go in your terminal, which I could open my terminal. I could put this command and we can add an invoice. We can create an invoice. We also have to make your node public. We have to make our node public. And here are directions on doing that. This is stuff that, most of you do not want to worry about. Honestly, I don't really want to worry about it either. I'm doing it because I'm very excited about what's happening in the development in the space, but it's not going to be like this forever. So Rebecca said, "Thank you. I apparently need to make my node public," and I see you have the instructions there as well. So this is the process, everybody. I just wanted to share that with you. I'm not trying to ramble right now, but very excited about it. So there's Rebecca's node, and then eCurrency hodler is on here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Look how many channels eCurrency hodler has. There he is. Thank you for your help. And then here I am, Crypto Capital Venture. So that's that. Wanted to share it with everybody. Again, I will put the link in the description of this video. I just posted it in the chat, and I'll post it one more time for everybody. Now let's jump into the charts. I'm jumping into the charts around 12 minutes into this video. I'll put a timestamp below for everybody. Bitcoin at a really, interesting area, right? We talked about this yesterday. We're at this key Fibonacci retracement area from this swing low to swing high. Here it is. We got that bounce. But I want to talk about, I did this video yesterday about this symmetrical triangle. We need a bounce, obviously. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. But what I want to talk about and just look at is the stock RSI and the RSI on the Bitcoin daily chart. So I'll zoom out a little bit. And this is the RSI, right? This is the slower momentum oscillator, the slower moving momentum oscillator for Bitcoin. And I covered this 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I talked about this kind of channel that Bitcoin is within, besides this dip and this low. The reason I extend it back to September is very important, actually. So I should talk about that. Right here at the beginning of this channel that I have on the screen, right here, from here before it dipped, Bitcoin within, for 2 months almost, kind of in this middle of the RSI, a very indecisive, consolidated market. And that's right up here, right? Indecisive, consolidating. It's totally when you saw 50% bulls, 50% bears in the comments, 50% of people saying we're going up, 50% of people saying we're going down. That's what it looks like on the charts. That's what it looks like on the charts, and that's what it looks like on the RSI. Now, what happened was we broke key support, $6,000, right? Everybody talking about $6,000, we broke it, and we saw new lows. Now, that's what it looks like on the RSI. We broke key support. We broke out of that consolidation. Bears were happy. We saw new lows for Bitcoin, RSI. Now, what's happened since then, we got our nice bounce after that crazy overextension from the 200 EMA in particular, we talk about a lot on this channel. We got a bounce right back into kind of the same channel, the middle of the RSI, a very indecisive place to be, right? With no clear direction, because we have, a nice uptick in Bitcoin. It's like, all right, we're making some nice moves. If this continues, we're going to see some sick gains. We might even be in that overbought area soon up here. And it doesn't get there, right? It comes back down. But then it sees support. And then it goes, and then there's just this consolidation right in between the RSI, right? So what we talk about is kind of like this 55 to 60 area on the RSI. And we talked about it when we were kind of leading up to it before, seeing resistance in that channel. And we saw clear resistance right there, and we bounced off of it. Now what we're seeing is support kind of on the lower end of this channel down here. So my point in saying this is if this support, and we see a weakening in the momentum of Bitcoin, the likelihood becomes higher for new lows. And you'll see that reflected on the RSI. Now, first off, if that happens from a purely personal perspective, that for me is just as powerful as a move as this one, and signifies the bottom of Bitcoin just as much as this one. We're going to go a little lower most likely if this happens, but it signifies the bottom, this bottom range that we've talked about for months now on this channel, down to $2,500. So real quick, you can see our breakout targets for this symmetrical triangle now in play. The height of that is down there at $2,500. And that's a key area for multiple reasons, right? We have our overextension from the 200 EMA to that area is right around 55%. And if you remember that last bear market that we were in, we can go there real quick. The last bear market that we were in, I'm going to zoom out. The bottom was defined from that 200 EMA down here. I'm very zoomed out, around 58%. The bottom was defined at 58% overextension from the 200 EMA. So if we get that overextension within this symmetrical triangle, then guess what? Based on historical data, that's an incredibly healthy area to accumulate Bitcoin. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be accumulating Bitcoin down here. And not only that, in terms of overextension from the 200 EMA, it's also a key area on our fib retracement that we've talked about on this channel. It's that previous swing low touch to the bottom of the triangle to swing high. And you can see right down here that 1618 in terms of lower lows. That's a big target in terms of Fibonacci retracement. So also down there, $2,200 to $2,500. So I know when you're on YouTube and you're trying to find Bitcoin live streams or Bitcoin technical analysis videos, I know it's more exciting and it's more engaging to do it, first off, while the market's up, and also to find videos that are just talking bullish. But if I could think ahead for a second, and if I could talk about like the value that I could possibly offer, the best value I could offer, it would be to talk about the downside potential, which again, on this channel, I've said it so many times, we have continued rejection at this 50 EMA. And until that changes, downward potential is more likely, right? The continuation in this bear market is more likely, or at least a capitulation in this bear market, a very ugly capitulation, is more likely. So I feel like I am doing you value, or giving you value, by talking about downside targets. I know I'm doing myself value because I remain patient and I try and remain calm so that I can grab those prices down there, right? So if I'm ready for these prices, that is incredible. It's an incredible price to accumulate Bitcoin. So that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. If you go to the Bitcoin on the 4 hour, you can even kind of see, if we open up our RSI, you can see Bitcoin on the 4 hour, just some pretty strong downward momentum right now. So we obviously need a clear bounce in momentum on the short term so that Bitcoin can stay above this trend line. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for support right at this bottom of this trend line. And as of right now, we're very close. So we break that support, things can kind of get dicey quickly. 4-hour oversold, or I'm sorry, overbought, coming out of overbought on the stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator. So, we could see some short-term consolidation and sideways trading along this trend line up here. And that could reflect as this stock RSI coming down, right? So the stock RSI isn't as strong of, a longer term oscillator as the RSI. But it's something definitely to be keenly aware of when you're tracking Bitcoin and Litecoin. So that's kind of what we're looking at for Bitcoin. The other thing I want to talk about is Litecoin. I know we have some people in here that like Litecoin. I like Litecoin. I just set up my Litecoin node. There it is. I'm so excited about that. So let's look at Litecoin. Now, Litecoin's kind of a different animal right now. It's kind of a scary animal because we went from extremely bullish, right? Extremely bullish, and we can actually, just for context, we can put our neckline here. We had our potential bullish move, inverse head and shoulders, right? We even had a break above the neckline right here. And everybody knows when I'm following patterns, it's so hard for me to call confirmation just for breaking an upper trend line. So for instance, this neckline is the upper trend line of the inverse head and shoulders. It's hard for me to call confirmation. Obviously, we get a daily close above there. You can technically say, all right, inverse head and shoulders in play. But I always, when we're breaking out of a pattern, whether on the upside or downside, I always want to wait conservatively for, Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever, to come back down and test the trend line for support. Especially when you have something like, a very key indicator like this 50 EMA on the 4-hour confluent with that support. So you can see what happened. We didn't hold support there when we came back down. And so it was a failed inverse head and shoulders. Now, Litecoin is in kind of like a scarier place than Bitcoin for a couple reasons. And it's not surprising. We say on the channel a lot that Litecoin often is more volatile on the upside as well as the downside than Bitcoin. So just to paint that picture, that swing high that we had when everything was bullish, we're above the neckline, we're going to the moon because we have an inverse head and shoulders. We've come down just about almost 30% since just a few days ago. Poseidon Lou, I didn't even know you were in here, my friend. 0.33 Litecoin. Poseidon Lou, thank you, bro. Dude, did you see? I set up my node, man. I know you'd be proud of me. Thank you for the LTC, dude. It's unnecessary but much appreciated, and I love you for it. So 33%. Now, if you want to get context to that in terms of Bitcoin from that same swing high, how down is Bitcoin from that? Well, right around 15%. So Litecoin, extremely more volatile, seeing less support than Bitcoin. And here's the thing on the downside, right? So we talked about Bitcoin on the downside with its targets from where we are right now. If it breaks down, I'm talking about 29 to 30%. So if we take Litecoin, where Litecoin is, and say if Litecoin follows Bitcoin in that move, which it would, 29 to 30% brings us right down here to around $21, $22. Now, that is very in line with our breakout target from this rising wedge of higher highs and higher lows right here. Here's our breakout target, the height of that, right? So here's our breakdown. We're a little bit above it, but remember Litecoin being very volatile. This is a great area for Litecoin on the downside to look out for, $21, $22. And I know you're like, dude, Dan, that's like 30% away We're above $30 now. We're going to see support at 30, and that's fine. Maybe we will. However, if we don't, I'm doing my technical analysis for you so you know when I'm going to be accumulating very heavily for Litecoin. Now, I also want to end Bitcoin. I want to say this. If we hit our targets down in this area, right? Say we hit 23, say we hit 21. I want to throw this out there. In the middle of that mess, there is such strong potential that Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatever you want to look at, if we hit these targets, would kind of get a little capitulation, kind of go crazy into the teens, right? So we're talking 18, 16, whatever. I don't know. But you can definitely see a wick, if that happened on a daily, probably down into that area. It's something I anticipate. I'm not saying I'm trying to catch those prices, right? But if we do get a move 30% down, you better believe whether $2,500 or $2,200 Bitcoin, that is a strong accumulation area for me. So it's very cheap in the long term if you look at the long-term charts. And it's also very significant in painting the picture of the bottom for Bitcoin. It's not a bad thing. So we take our long-term 786, that yellow line there, we kind of paint our channel down to say $2,500, and just look at how this chart is forming. We've been charting this chart and that bottom since above $6,000, and we're actually there. This is the accumulation area I said is a heavy accumulation area, whether you're at the top of that channel or the bottom of that channel. And look at us. We're almost in the middle of the channel. And it's exactly why we do technical analysis. It's exactly why I've used the data from the last bear market, right, that we have back here. If I can find my brush. Back here. Here's that 786 line. Here's that bottom range, leading right into this long-term lower trend line, leading right up to the halving, right? And it's the same thing. 786 line, long-term 786, bottom trend line. Like, look at this consolidation right in between the two. I don't know how long it's going to go for. However, I do know that the accumulation potential and opportunity is ridiculous. And then whether we break out in February, right? Whether we break out in April, start moving up. Whether we break out in August, we'll be doing the same thing. If it follows this course, the long-term course of Bitcoin leading up to the next halving, right? This blue line is that next halving. So it would be the same exact thing as the last bear market. Right out of it into that next halving. And then, the bull market ensues, right? And so for us, it would look like the bull market ensues. So obviously, we could be at a $10,000 Bitcoin before the real bulls step in terms of the bull market for Bitcoin. And it's crazy to think about. Everybody would be like ecstatic for a $10,000 Bitcoin right now, but it could just be a steady growth to that area. And then, going into 2020, 2021, we could see some incredible gains, right? So it's following the course, it's following the trend perfectly. And so that's why I'm not even worried about it. Whether we're if we zoom in on this bottom channel, again, we've talked about this bottom channel from up here, the potential for it. And we did it based on some things zoomed out on the chart, but also the overextension from this 200 EMA, right? So $2,500 down here is our next target on the downside if Bitcoin decides to go down. And there it is. So that's my technical analysis for today. January 15th, 2018. Obviously, I'm long on Bitcoin. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Casa. Casa comes with LTC. Yeah, can you run an LTC node on Casa? Running a BTC node on Casa. I've heard the best nodes earn about $5 a month right now. So and that's a good, I'm actually glad people are talking about that, because this node that I set up for Litecoin on the Lightning Network right there, I'm number 119. I had to go through some steps, right? A lot of steps. Now you have things like the Casa nodes that you'll be able to set up, and they won't be the first startup to offer this. It's going to get easier for everybody out there to do this. And this is the very beginning of this massive shift and the massive impact of cryptocurrency on today's monetary system and on the way that we do business. So for me in particular, I have, I have like probably the biggest example for me right now. I have a couple, but the biggest one for me is definitely based on Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, and I can just go to my Twitter. I think I just tweeted it. Here. Wells Fargo still has a hold on my money, and this is true. I have a hold on my money since I think it's been 2 weeks now. 2 weeks now on an invoice that I charged one of my clients, right? They paid me. They have a hold on my money. And I said, maybe you don't know the context of why they're holding my money, but that's why. It was a large deposit. The point is, this is the control we're slowly ripping out of the hands of banks. And this is what it looks like, everybody. It's the innovation of cryptocurrency as it applies to payments. There are other applications of blockchain, right? But this is as it pertains to payments, and it's very relevant to somebody like me running a small business and invoicing my clients. This technology is so relevant to me. So that's probably why I can speak with such conviction in the technology. And it's also kind of why I feel good about investing in it, right? Not only because I'm a risk taker. I always have been. And so that's part of it. But the other part of it is, as it applies to me, this technology is so relevant in terms of payments for me personally in my business. And will it get easier? Heck yeah. Where so many people are setting up nodes. So many people will be setting up nodes, but this is huge for business. So also what's actually hilarious about this tweet, I'll share with you real quick, is Wells Fargo actually replied to the tweet. And they said, I see the frustration. Please send a DM with more details about what's going on. And it's literally Wells Fargo. You can see they're Twitter verified. And I didn't call because they can't help me. They have their policies. They do what they do. And it is what it is. So that requires patience on my part in terms of ending up in situations like that. But man, just look at the screen. Look at what I have on the screen. I have two very exciting things. Number one, we are nearing the end of a bear market, right? In this long-term growth of an incredible technology that if you're invested in, I like to think of you as a mini VC, a mini venture capitalist. So that's number one. You can see it on the screen in terms of upside potential for investment, for making some money and returns, right? And then number two, the technology itself is going to change the way that we do things. So I'm really excited about it. I appreciate everybody who came by on this live stream. It's a really weird time, almost 5 p.m. Eastern, but it worked out. If you're a replay viewer and you're still here, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to know what you think in terms of where Bitcoin is heading to next. If you're accumulating, everybody that's been just kind of typing away in the live stream, thank you for kind of being here and letting me know your thoughts. Believe it or not, when I'm doing my technical analysis and doing my live streams, I glance over and I definitely soak in what you guys are saying. So appreciate all of you. If you're not a subscriber and you are here right now, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel, especially as we exit this bear market in the coming months and enter a whole new world. I would love to have you as part of the channel. Appreciate all of you. Hit that like button on the way out. I will see you all in the next video. Have an awesome rest of your day, and God